KMS Wrap Up show. Mike didn't want to stay. What's up with that? I don't know what's going on there. Usually he'll stay when he's here. I'll drive him home. That way he doesn't have to get an Uber or anything like that. But he didn't want to stay today. So it is what it is. Nothing you can do. All right, September or October 6th, whatever the date is. And today, we going into it yesterday on yesterday's show. Basically thought we were just going to do calls today. Kind of like maybe like a call AMA fest is what I thought was going on. But it ended up being a good, I want to say like almost an hour and a half regular type show topics and then into calls, which we did for another half hour, 45 minutes or so or something like that. So good show today. I don't know. I had fun. I thought about meaningless shit, I assume. The Sage Steele stories. I don't know if you saw, we talked about Sage Steele yesterday. Mike said that, odds of her being fired or taken off air or whatever were likely when Kirk said they weren't yesterday. So we just kind of brought that back up since she was on ESPN, taken off ESPN yesterday. And just got into this meaningless argument, totally my fault, I assume, about her skill set and is she good in relation to other people and what she could do. Should she go start a conservative podcast? Kirk said she could go to like Outkick or something. I said that was a lazy opinion take. I don't know. I just like every time somebody says something political and they're in another sphere, I just don't assume that we can just like toss them into the political world or that that's what they want to go into, I guess. So it was a meaningless fucking fight, but he kept asking for examples. I have none. I don't know how to give an example of somebody who's just a talented anchor who's interviewing or, basically just describing what they're seeing or whatever. Like there's no anchor out there who has these like memorable moments. So I didn't know what examples I could provide, but I just know Sage Steele is very good at her job. And in my opinion, probably, and I said this on the show, the higher echelon of opinions when it comes to broadcast, like anchor behind a desk, right? Maria Taylor is an anchor behind the desk. Sage Steele is better than her. It's not political analysis. That's not have anything to do with the Rachel Nichols thing. It's just Sage Steele is better in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm an asshole or maybe it makes no sense, but that was just one of the fights. The other fight that happened was, I guess I call it Kirk a liar, which was stupid because he didn't lie, but we were just talking about, has Craig Carton in New York created any buzz in radio? And the truth was no, but my argument was he must have created some kind of buzz to stay number one in a major media market like New York. So another meaningless argument that, Kirk came out on top on both of them, but either way, I think both of them are clearly successful no matter what, and they have options and random fights. So I apologize. The other stupid thing that I did today was the W-Town thing, even though that caller... I don't know if you haven't, hopefully you've listened all the way through. Yeah, you're not listening to this before you fucking listen to the Kirkman intro. If you are, you're a fucking idiot. Okay. Do not listen to the wrap up show before you listen to the Kirkman and show. Please do me that favor. But basically we were talking, a caller called in, D Brown, and Kirk mentioned an incident with D Brown. I think it was 1990 where it was mistaken identity. Police threw him to the ground, pointed a gun at his head and all this stuff. And it happened in Wellesley. And I make this comment about W-Towns. I think that's a known thing in I grew up in Westwood, which we deemed a W-Town. Westwood was a W-Town. Wellesley was a W-Town. Weston. Now W-Towns were more higher echelon W-Towns. Now that doesn't mean, getting a call from my wife. Hold on. The Bluetooth is up. I should just take that, but I won't because it's kid stuff, so don't worry about it. But that was like a thing. Like we were a part of a W town. Not that it was like some rich snobby thing. I always think like Wellesley's a snobby town. All right. Westwood was not a snobby town. In my opinion, I don't know, but it was funny because he just went off in this stupid little argument between us in studio, but a caller who was on hold for the whole time who said, oh, a W town. You know what I think of? I think of Worcester is a wealthy W town or something like that. But it was a funny little back and forth. So yeah, I took it on the chin today, I guess. I just got the shit kicked out of me, but it's my fault. Why do I chime in? I shouldn't chime in. Kirk's right. I'm shitty behind a mic. I shouldn't be doing that stuff. So you're going to take it if you talk, I guess, but whatever. Other stuff that came up on the show. I was actually happy that Kirk brought up the Aussie media story because it's just one random ass motherfucking story in media that's just wild. And I've been trying to read as much as I can on it because it's just interesting to me. I love that shit. This fucking CEO is just such a phony. And he's one of those, I have to imagine if Kirk dove more into it and learned more about the CEO specifically, he would fucking hate this guy. This guy is that typical, I think I can host podcasts and do I'm the best businessman and I'm the best guy who can give you advice on your health and wellness. He's that type of guy. But he's just a full-fledged crook. They're lying about viewership numbers. They're lying about digital impressions. They're lying about all this shit. and just the little incidents that have occurred for them to get to where they are. Like there's all these lies. They're just like great little stories. The fact, and we talked about it on the show, is they're trying to raise, I think I thought it was 100 million. I think it's 40 when I was looking it up after the show, but they're trying to raise money from Goldman Sachs. And Goldman Sachs asks this company, Aussie, can you put me in touch with your contact at YouTube so we can validate that you guys are the fastest growing, whatever fucking show on YouTube. So they go and get the head of scripted content for YouTube to do a conference call with Goldman Sachs. And it turns out it's the chief operating officer of Aussie faking that he is the head of content, basically, of YouTube to Goldman Sachs. So they're just lying everywhere. They get caught lying. Company shuts down on Friday. CEO tries to save them on Monday is where he goes on CNBC. You got to wonder, like, behind the scenes, like, this company's fucked. Like, it's just fucked. Employees don't want to come back. Why they think they can save this, or why the CEO specifically thinks he can save it. It's got to be one of those things where just the arrogance it takes to think that you should be the president of the United States, or the arrogance that thinks that you should be a politician in general. Like these CEOs, the arrogance they have to think that you can fuck over, investors, fuck over your employees, fuck your entire business, lies after lies after lies, and then just come back from the dead just because you want to be, I don't know, you want to remain in power or something. I have no fucking clue. This company is dead just dead, and it should just go away. But it's a fascinating story. If you want to check it out, he just got the shit kicked out of him on a CNBC interview on Monday. I'm sure it's continuing. I actually didn't follow it as much yesterday, just because all the shit that was going down on Monday was fascinating. I didn't think there was much more to fucking find out, to be honest with you, but I'm sure more will develop on that end. So it's an interesting story if you want to check it out. Besides, they touched on the Yankees Red Sox game last night to start it. Had a little fun with the John Sterling call, which was he thought it was a home run. It turned out to be a single. I think I titled the episode of the podcast that, but that was funny. We didn't really get into any more behind the scenes stuff. I know yesterday was basically the entire behind the scenes stuff with what's going on with Justin. We just talked about how we haven't talked to him, and we will. I mean, it's just more of a Kirk gave him the week off, and it's just give him time to figure out what happened, figure out where his head's at. I'll probably check in Wednesday or Thursday, just give it a few days so he's not really thinking about the show in any way, and just kind of see where his head's at later in the week. We did talk about too later in the show, and I tweeted out this morning personally, which was fucking OJ's lawyer randomly reaching out to me and emailing me with a link to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, or whatever the fuck that movie, Jack Nicholson movie is, and basically saying this scene encompasses your idol, Kirk Minahan, which is like, why at 9:00 on a Tuesday night is OJ's attorney sending me that email? I have no fucking clue. I have no clue why, like how that entered his brain. So I'll let you guys know. We'll update that on Friday if he gets back to me. I just responded with a couple words. What prompted this? That was literally, that's all. So I don't know if like a Minifan was tweeting him, or if maybe he saw something about Kirk online, or maybe he just saw it on his time. I don't fucking know, but I'm actually interested to see why he reached out. So besides that, schedule, as we talked about yesterday, I fucked it up like 25 million times. It was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This fucking Christ. It's just easier to say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. So Quantum Week Chris back in this Friday. So that'll be fun just to see the fallout from Sacco, where Carano says that you saved the word, like, say, don't call me a cunt, you call Cullinane a cunt, or something like that, however he worded that. So that'd be interesting to see what the takeaway from that is. Besides that, that's really it. It was kind of just a free-flowing topic, one thing after another day, and then a bunch of calls. We got the Billboard charts guy in there for a good call, and some other good calls. So, all right. So Friday we will be back, Quantum with Chris. I'll be back with the KMS Wrap Up show after that, and yeah, we'll talk to you then.